Every time I sit down at this desk for this video, I'm going to film a few minutes of what I do during the week. This was the top video idea that was voted on by my subscribers. It was supposed to be my 4,000 subscriber special, but now I have over 5,000 subscribers. So thank you so much for being here and for subscribing if you have. And this will double, I guess, as those two, unless you want to see something else to also commemorate the 5,000 subscribers. Last year, the very kind, very beautiful Gabby sent me a lot of these beautiful sticker sheets, and many of them she has in her shop, Pen Pal Gabby C on Etsy. And I was digging through my stationery that I have a lot of, and I thought that a great way to start using some of these supplies that I haven't gotten to yet will be to put them in my sticker books. I've done a couple pages already. I really love how they look. They're very fall, and I know that Gabby really loves fall themed stationery, so it's the perfect time to use some of this. I also have the reply letters that I decorated for her. She sent me this very large care package and stuffed it full with so many beautiful things, so I wanted to make sure that when I send her back my part of the stationery swap that they look very beautiful. So this is probably my favorite envelope I've ever decorated, with this woman going toward the spring and the rainbows and the flowers, and leaving behind and missing all of the beauty of the fall that's coming behind her, and trying to get her to come over to this side. I really love how this one turned out, and it's gotten me into using my stationery a bit more. This one is like a witchy bookshop, potion shop sort of theme, and you can see some of the stickers aren't holding down very well. I'm not really sure why, but I keep having to press them down. I might have to put a layer of packing tape over it to keep everything down. But I really love how this one turned out too, with the little cat and the potion brewing and the little ghosty. Super cute. And I added this witch at the back with a little ghost here as well. And then for this one, I did more of a traditional, I want to say, themed collage of fall, with lots of beautiful warm tones and cute girls that look like they're going to go to a pumpkin patch. At least that's what I'm thinking in my mind. And I used many stickers that Gabby had sent me too, like this lovely themed one here. And I believe she sent me quite a few of these ones as well. So if you're interested in what I'm using today, definitely check her out. But in the meantime, I will be adding a few stickers to my pages. I don't know about you all. I think sometimes I get so into crafting that I just use all my energy on actually interacting with and using the supplies. And then by the time I'm ready to wrap it up, I have no energy to actually clean it up. So that's why my desk ends up looking like that. These are so cute. These ones are super cute because they have the cute little edging. I also wasn't sure how the sticker pages would be, depending on the type of stickers or washi tape or what have you. Sometimes I find in my ring bound sticker book, they don't stick very well. A good tip for using smaller sticker books like this too is to turn things on their edges, or even put things upside down, if it allows you to get more on the page. Especially since I am on a no buy for this whole year and it's still going pretty strong. Using sticker books and interacting with my stationery in different ways, taking it with me places, making it as easy to use as possible is a great way to appreciate what I have, use what I have, not get distracted by things that I want. but I will be putting a couple of inks on my Christmas wish list, I'm not gonna lie. Hi everyone, good morning. It is Monday morning. It is very wet and dark out this morning because it is raining. And I apologize if you can hear traffic in the background. It's one of the many upsides of living in a city in downtown. I wanted to journal for a few minutes this morning in my 5-year. I made that video about being back into it and then subsequently haven't gone back to it. So I'm going to start with yesterday and do a few days. I find it's helpful to go backward from the day. So that will be where I start. I'm just going to use my Leuchtturm 1917 black gel pen because I think my fountain pens are in another room. I still have quite a few days to go, but that will be Monday's journal session. Last night was pen cleaning night. I like to keep all of my pens ready to be cleaned and do it all at once. It's just easier that way because the ink gets everywhere anyway, so might as well just wait. So it was pen cleaning day. I cleaned 5 out of 6 of my pens. One of them still had some ink left in it, quite a bit of ink left in it. So I decided to leave it be. But the rest I have cleaned. My Kavecos usually get cleaned the most because they're little tiny ink chargers. What are these called? The converters are usually really quick to run out because you can see how little baby tiny they are. And that's totally fine. Usually what I do is if there's colors I'm not sure about, ones I want to try out, I'm not sure if I like, then I'll put them in the Kavecos. And if I really don't like them, they don't really last that long anyway, but it's giving me enough of a chance to really sample them at their true form and see how they work in a pen more long term. So after I clean them all out, usually I let them dry overnight, and these smaller pens, as you can see, usually don't take too much time to dry. So these little Kaveco inserts don't hold a lot of water, and the rest of the pieces air dry pretty quickly. So I will just leave them out overnight and then put them back together in the morning. One of my favorite things to do is actually pick which inks I'll be using in them next, and I'll show you that in a second. Oh, I think maybe these ones are not right. Yeah, there we go. Sometimes the feeds for my Twisbees and my Kavecos get mixed up, and they look very similar and they're a similar size, so sometimes they get mixed up. But this is definitely where this is supposed to be. I think my favorite is definitely the iridescent pearl one. It's just so pretty and unique, but I have stained it because ink has collected in the cap and stained it a little bit, which is sad. It's like semi-translucent, so you can see it even when the lid is on. And what I do, these ones aren't dry yet, but what I do is I fill the cup up with a paper towel and I stand the bodies of the pens upright so that as they dry, they can evaporate out the top. And I'll usually leave it near a window where I get some sunlight so that the sun and the heat can help a little bit. But you can see these ones are still wet, so I'll keep them standing up on their ends for now so that they can dry. This is a little plate that is, I use it for lots of things. It's great for holding all the little pieces, but it's also great for watercolor and whatnot too. So I'll leave those there for now. What I like to do is go through my swatch booklet. I organize them by color, so pinks and reds all the way, you know, to oranges, and I'll go through this, you know, one at a time and see what grabs me. It's usually on the cooler side, but sometimes I feel like experimenting a bit. And I have quite a few inks because most of them are samples or small vial sizes. Here's most of them. Then I have a separate little section here too, but I've had ones that I've bought, I've had ones that people have shared with me, and then I received a set from Ferris Wheel Press of all these different samples as a gift for Christmas a couple of years ago. So I'm making my way through all of these, and I keep them all in this big bag. But these are the ones I've chosen. So I think I have six. Yeah, I have 6 here, so I'm not sure which ones I'm going to choose, like the 5 out of the 6. But I have Green with Curiosity by Ferris Wheel Press, Mystic Mountain by Colorverse, which is one of my all-time favorites, Tumbling Time Blue, which is super shifty, red, blue, shimmery, Ver Atlantide by J. Urban, Cabernet on the Lake by Ferris Wheel Press. This is a sample my friend Seppi sent me, who also is on YouTube. And I also have Dominant Industries Dusk, which is sent to me by a very lovely subscriber, and is one that I keep trying because I'm not sure if I like it or not. It looks very purple, but it can also look very gray. And I find, depending on which pen I put the ink into, of course, it's going to come out a little bit differently. I find the Kavecos, even though they are medium nibs, write pretty fine, whereas the TWSBI seem to write on the wetter side of medium. So you get different variations of what the inks look like. I'm not going to fill the pens with ink here because I don't want to stain my table, but I have a couple of the bottles here. Mystic Mountain, you can see all the shimmer along the bottom. And I love this little tiny baby bottle. It's super cute. And then I have the Tumbling Time Blue bottle here from Ferris Wheel Press. This is one of the only full bottles that I've bought, and it's very pretty. It kind of looks like a Christmas ornament. And I like that it's really small because realistically, I'm probably not going to get through it anytime soon. And the box is really cool too. And then Ver Atlantide. This one I actually won in a giveaway from a independent stationery store. Very cool. And I love how classic it is and the history behind this brand. It's been hundreds of years old and they still make beautiful inks that are very popular, and it looks very classic with the wax seal on the front. So possibly today or tomorrow you'll see me update my ink log at the back of my journal, where I keep everything updated on what inks I'm currently using. Good morning, everybody, and sorry for the jump scare. I filled some of my pens with ink last night and it did not go according to plan. Sometimes I wear gloves. Last night I thought I would just throw caution to the wind, and the wind blew my ink back at me. So now I have green hands. So please wear gloves if you think it's going to be messy with your inks. I also discovered last night that not only did I mess up when I was filling my pens, but also one of my nibs fell down my kitchen sink and I can't get to it because the trap is glued shut. So now this pen does not have a nib. I already ordered a replacement. It doesn't count for my no buy because it is replacing a part that I would otherwise be using. So I ordered that from Blesket, which is a Toronto GTA based company that I've bought fountain pen things from before. I was super tempted to buy an ink, a couple of inks that I really wanted, but I didn't. So I hope you're proud of me as I continue to soldier on when it comes to my no buy. So I had to wash and clean out my TWSBI VAC 700R Iris again, which is why my hands are full of ink. And I'm gonna put it back together and I will fill it with ink later. Not gonna lie, I'm a little scared now. What happened was these pieces were not quite correct. There was some water that was trapped in here and it would keep fogging up. So that became really annoying very quickly. And I wanted to not have water stuck in there. So putting it back together now, I let it dry overnight and it's really dry. So I'm hoping that it won't fog up this time. And then it's really easy to just screw this back together and the piston just comes back down and then it's good. There's a little bit of water left in here. I'm not too worried about it. I could, since I'm not going to fill it right now actually, I might just leave this still in my little cup with paper towel, standing it perfectly up straight so that the water can escape. So I think I'll just do that, but at least these pieces are back together and the cap is fine. So I have 2 pens down, unfortunately. Because things didn't work out to plan, I ended up doing a couple different things. I actually used Cabernet on the Lake in this one, the lavender, light lavender color, Kaveco. So I didn't choose to use this one. Instead, I used almost these, but not quite. I swapped out, which one did I swap out? I think I replaced this one with another J. Urban that I have. So that one will be slightly similar. It's Emeraude de Chivor, probably saying that wrong. And it is quite beautiful. So I'm glad that I have a full bottle of that. But those were my choices. So I'll have to put this back on. Actually, I have one left because, oh, 2 left. I have to fill this one and I have to fill this one. So I'm not sure. I'll probably do another blue, honestly. I did use Tumbling Time Blue. I did use Mystic Mountain. I didn't use Dusk. There wasn't really much left of it. It can be really hard to fill the little tiny converters when I'm just using a little sample, because this is so small that it doesn't actually go all the way into the sample. If the sample vial is this long, I can't actually get it there without getting even more ink on my hands. And you can probably guess why I didn't do that. So I have 2 more inks to choose from. It'll probably be blues. I really wanted to go back to like my top inks and just use ones that I really love, because I've been really trying to get back into writing more, and I figured if I used the inks that I love the most, it'll be a lot easier. So I will have to choose a few more inks, or a couple more inks, but until then, I'm gonna let those dry. Put this back in here, and I will use, this is Mystic Mountain in here. You can tell because there's so much shimmer and it's really pretty. Sometimes if I have the chance, I'll just like mix up the ink a little bit before I use it. Especially in these demonstrator pens, it's easy to see when it all settles. So I wanted to use this pen. Today is Friday I believe it's the 26th today. No, it's the 27th. Yesterday was the 26th. So again, been missing a couple days. It's fine. Oh, actually, I've been missing a lot of days. Okay. Wait, this is October. Hold on. There we go. I knew that wasn't right. It's good to read the numbers at the top. Okay. So today is the 27th. Yesterday was the 26th. So yeah, there's only a few days that I've missed, so that's okay. I can write those out. I wrote about this situation of my green hands, but also our save the dates for our wedding came in, and we used Vistaprint, and they were able to actually print our invitees' addresses right onto the envelopes, so it's one less thing we have to do. But they couldn't do all of the envelopes, so I'll probably be using my fountain pens to address some of them, which is kind of fun. Also, a couple days ago, I received a package from Emma, one of my besties. She sent me some bead supplies, which is very appreciated. Thank you, Emma. And also one of our swap journals that we started in 2022, and it's almost the end of 2024. I have a video on this if you want to see more of it, but we have 3 journals, one for each of us, and we send them around in a loop, and we all contribute different collages and photos and things like that to the journals, and then when they're filled up, whoever started with that journal gets to keep it, instead of just having one, because then it's like who gets it at the end. We all have one. And yeah, so I got that, and I'll probably be filling that in before sending it off. I even had one of my friends, Heather, write a little entry in there as like a guest entry, which is fun to get someone else's perspective. At one point I was using some oil pastels and doing some cute little drawings and things like that, but if you want to see more, definitely check out that video. I think, oh my god, resolutions. I can't even remember my 2024 resolution. I don't even know if I had one, so that'll be fun to fill in. And there's only like a couple more spreads left. That's wild. Throwback to when we first started this, we thought we would be done in 1 year. It's been 2 years later. Hold on, when did this start? Oh, here we go. We have an entry log, February 2022. And yeah, I'll be finishing it up in September of 2024. It's okay. There was no real time limit, and we already have some more waiting in the background to be filled, so yeah. It is Thursday, October 3rd. Happy Mean Girls Day if you celebrate. I have a little bit of a gap between this update and the last one because I broke my microphone cord that plugs into my phone. I dropped my phone last time I went to record, and the cable completely snapped where it plugs into my phone. Jesus, Kate. So I didn't have audio, which was not very helpful for videos. But I have a few fun updates for you to round out this video. The first is that Elijah, my fiance, gifted me his vintage pencil sharpener that he brought back from Hong Kong years ago and used for his pencils when he was growing up. But he wasn't using it much anymore, and it was still in pretty good condition at his parents', so he gave it to me. It's the Carl Angel 5 pencil sharpener, and it has this really big compartment where you can put all the pencil shavings. It is metal, and it has this like awesome turn crank. And the best part about it is that when you pull it out, it stays in place. And then when you put your pencil, let's say one like this is the Mitsubishi Hi-Uni HB. When you put in the pencil, it clamps in like this. And then when you turn the pencil sharpener, it pulls it in as it sharpens it. and then you get a perfectly sharpened pencil every single time with like this very long end that has lots of lead exposed. So it's so fun to use, and it's so satisfying when it's like the perfect sharpen every time. And then all of the pencil shavings are perfectly encapsulated in here, and you don't have to worry about them going everywhere or doing it, you know, by hand. So that's been really fun. I've been using a bunch of pencils for note-taking in books. I started reading The Artist's Way again, and using these pencils for writing notes in the margins and underlying things. My go-to one has been the Black Wing Pearl that I was gifted by a friend, Will, who is also a lover of pencils, as well as quite a few of these actually he gave me, which is very kind. I've been really enjoying the Black Wing Pearl the most, so I've been using that one. But it's really nice to have some nice pencils on hand for a change. Not every situation, unfortunately, calls for a fountain pen, so it's good to have some pencils. And another update is that I have started a new journal. This is actually an old journal. I've done a how I start at my journals video on this journal, and then after I started it, I decided immediately that I would rather be in a B6 plus, so I abandoned this one shamefully, and I ended up just moving into the B6 instead. So if you remember, you can go back and watch that video as I talk through my process and show how I journaled and made this collage, but this is how I started it last August. And then I left it, and this is the only page I made. So this journal is now my morning pages journal. If you're familiar with the Artist's Way process, you'll know what I mean by that. It's 3 spreads worth of journaling every morning, stream of consciousness. So 3 of these, like 1, 2, 3 of writing completely top to bottom, because it's supposed to be 3 sides of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and the A5 is technically that, you know, but put horizontally. So I like putting it in this notebook, and I decided to use it since I had already started it anyway, that I would use it for that purpose. So I can't show my pages, but they are completely filled. Like, I can't show you in depth, but they are completely filled with writing, and in the past few days you can imagine how fast it really adds up. So I started on page 3. I did a little collage just to differentiate between the time that I started it and the time that I'm doing it now. So I've already made it to page 33, and I started on 3. So I've already done 30 pages in like 4 or 5 days. So you can imagine how fast I'll be able to fill this up, which will be really nice. But that's been an update that I've added to my collection, and I added this sticker on the front that I've been saving for a really long time. It was one of my favorites from a pet tape sample loop that I bought from Paper Game. I could never get myself to use it for anything because it was just one that I liked too much, but I decided the front of this notebook is a perfect place because I'll see it all the time. And then the back, I added another sticker to sort of mirror the front that I also really liked and couldn't bring myself to use. So decorating the outside of your journals is a great way of using some of those favorite stickers that you're worried about, like, quote unquote, wasting. So those are my 2 updates, other than the fact that I also got my replacement nib. So this pen is now operational once again, and I decided to do some experimenting and mix 2 inks in here. So I have J. Urban's Violet Pensée in here, and Ferris Wheel Press's Stroke of Midnight. So like a deep blue with silver shimmer and a very bright purple. And it came out this like moody bluish purple with sparkle, so I'm a fan. I'll probably start experimenting more with mixing inks in the future too, just to see what I can get from my collection. I hope you enjoyed this vlog series. I'd like to do more if you do. If you have questions or thoughts, please leave them down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.